experiment number 1, study of half-wave rectifier with and without filter in analog and digital electronics laboratory. The aim of the experiment is to study the operation of half-wave rectifier with and without filter and to find its percentage regulation, ripple factor and efficiency. So basically, a rectifier circuit converts AC into DC. An alternating quantity is converted into direct quantity or unidirectional quantity. So the half-wave rectifier output is a pulsating DC, where we will not get a constant output. So if we use a filter, you can able to get a constant output at the rectifier circuit. So the application of half-wave rectifiers are charger and limiter. The basic components needed to construct this circuit is springboard, diode, resistors and capacitors. And the equipments needed are transformer, digital voltmeter, cathode ray oscilloscope and connecting wires. So basically, first circuit, half-wave rectifier without filter we are going to build and we are going to verify. So here the circuit working is like this. The AC input is stepped down to 9 volt and it is connected to a diode, and from the diode it is connected to a ammeter to measure the current, and from the ammeter it is connected to a 120 ohm fixed resistor, and the end of the fixed resistor we connect a decayed resistance box. The resistance box end is connected to the secondary of the transformer. The voltmeter is connected in parallel to this resistor branch. So without filter we are connecting the circuit. So here the conversion is happening like this. During positive cycle of the input, the diode is forward biased and it allows the current through the circuit. So the output voltage will be similar to the input voltage. Whereas during negative cycle, the diode is reverse biased, so it is open, it will not conduct. So current through the resistor is 0, so voltage also 0. So I will be getting the positive half at the output, whereas negative will be 0. So we can see the waveform here. Input signal is an alternating quantity, whereas half-wave rectifier output without filter is pulsating DC. Positive cycle I get the output, whereas negative cycle it is 0. So this is how we get the output in the half-wave rectifier without filter. So in the circuit, we are going to vary the resistor by using the decayed resistance box, and we are going to observe the output waveforms. The second circuit, we are going to introduce the filter, that is your capacitor. So it will be connected in parallel to the resistor branch. So when you connect a capacitor in parallel to the resistor branch, it will filter out all the ripples and it will try to maintain the output voltage constant. So the working will be, initially the capacitor will be charged with the polarity plus and minus, and once it is fully charged, it will reverse bias the diode and the capacitor only will deliver to the load, so that the capacitor will be discharging like this. So once the capacitor voltage goes low, then again it will be charged from the supply, then again it will be discharging through the load. So this is how it can able to provide a constant output at the output terminals. So these two circuits without filter, we are going to verify the waveforms. Once the waveforms are verified, we are going to find out the performance factors. So first, without filter we will find the performance factor. So in this circuit, the things what we have to note down is, initially keep the DRB at minimum position and take the resistance as 120. So for 120 ohm resistance, what is the input peak signal Vm we want to note down. Then we need to note down the IDC current through the ammeter. Then we should know the VDC, average DC voltage, across the resistor branch we have to note down. Then in the output waveform we have to note down the peak to peak ripple voltage. So these 4 parameters we have to note down for a load resistance of 120 ohm, and we have to tabulate these readings. After this we can vary the resistance to 380 so that the total resistance will become 500, and for 500 the same way Vm, IDC, VDC and peak to peak ripple voltage values we have to note down. So these readings has to be tabulated in a tabular column. So we can see the tabular column here. See, without filter we are taking the reading. So initially keep the load resistance as 120 ohm and note down the peak voltage, that is Vm, then VDC across the resistor and IDC in the ammeter. So these 2 readings we have to note down. Then you want to note down the peak to peak ripple voltage. Once these values are noted down, you can increase the resistance to 500. So increase the resistance to 500. Again find out the Vm value. So it will be around 9 volt. And note down the VDC value, then IDC value, then peak to peak ripple voltage. So these 4 readings we have to note down. So from these values we can able to find out the performance factors. Again increase the resistance to 800, then take the readings, then increase it to 1000 ohm and take down all these 4 readings. So once all the load resistance values are taken, the last reading is no load resistance. So for taking the no load resistance value, no load values, remove the resistance. So you can open up the resistance and note down the no load voltage. That will give you the no load voltage when the resistance is not connected in the circuit. So all these readings we have to note down. Once these values are noted down, we can able to find out the performance factors for these values. So Vm, VDC, IDC and peak to peak ripple voltage we have to note down. So after this the calculation is Vrms can be calculated by using the formula Vm by 2. The RMS value will be for a half wave rectifier is Vm by 2 and IRMS is Vm by 2RL. Using this formula Vrms and IRMS has to be calculated. Once it is calculated we can find out the efficiency. Efficiency formula is PDC by PAC. PDC is DC power, so VDC into IDC, whereas AC power is Vrms into IRMS. So use this formula and find out the rectification efficiency for different loads. Then for finding the ripple factor, go with the formula root of Vrms by VDC whole squared minus 1, and we can able to find out the ripple factor for all the loads. The last one, percentage regulation. So for percentage regulation, so the last reading will give you the no load voltage. So this no load voltage minus the particular load voltage. So when you are loading whatever voltage we are getting, so subtract that voltage from the no load voltage and divide it by the particular voltage. So that will give you the percentage regulation. So for regulation, so formula is no load voltage minus loaded voltage divided by that particular load voltage. So like this we have to calculate the performance factors. So this table is for half wave rectifier calculation without filter. The second thing, with the filter we are going to perform the same experiment. So with the filter, the same way we are going to vary the load resistance and we are going to observe these values. So when you see the third table, half wave rectifier with capacitor filter. The same way we are going to vary the load. Initially it is kept as to 120 ohm, then increased to 500, then 800, then 1000. So for 120 ohm, first observe what is the Vm. Vm will be 9 volt usually, and find out the VDC and IDC from the meters. Then peak to peak ripple voltage has to be observed from your CRO. So the CRO, the peak to peak ripple voltage, when you add a filter it will reduce, whereas Without filter, that will be a constant value. Around 9 volt we will get without filter, whereas if you add the filter, that ripple nature will reduce. So this will be reducing. Say an example, it may reduce to 6 volt, 4 volt, 2 volt, like that the ripple value will be reducing. So that value you have to note down. So when you connect a capacitor in parallel, you will come across the reduction in the ripple voltage. So that voltage we have to observe from the CRO. Next thing, you have to increase your resistance to 500. So increase the resistance to 500, then by adjusting the DRB, then we have to note down the same values: VM, VDC, IDC, VDC from the meters you want to note down. Then note down the peak to peak ripple voltage. Peak to peak ripple is nothing but the difference between the minimum and the maximum voltage. This will give you the peak to peak ripple value. So this we have to note down for various resistance values. So again, increase your resistance to 800, then 1000, and note down the same values: VDC, IDC, peak to peak ripple value. So all these has to be tabulated. Then finally, remove the load resistance and take down the no load value. So once everything is noted, we are going to calculate the performance factors. So the performance factor, the same way we can find out the efficiency, regulation, as well as the ripple factor. Only the ripple factor, the formulas goes like this. The ripple factor will be nothing but the AC component by DC component. So the AC component, whichever it is present, it is similar to a triangular waveform. So the AC component RMS value is given by the formula peak to peak ripple voltage divided by 2 root 3. So use this formula for VAC divided by the VDC value, which is there in the column. So V peak to peak ripple divided by 2 root 3 divided by VDC. Use this formula to find out the ripple factor. So for finding ripple factor with the filter, we have to go with this peak to peak ripple voltage divided by 2 root 3 divided by VDC. That will give the ripple factor. So once you increase the load, the ripple factor also will be reducing. So the other things remains the same as the calculation of your without filter. So find out the performance factors, and you can analyze how it is varying when we vary the load resistance, and we can draw the graph for input output waveforms with and without filter. So now we are going to do the simulation for the circuit, then we will be performing the hardware. So in the simulation, the procedure to follow is open the schematics and get all the parts from your get new part icon. Then using draw wire, connect all your circuit, build your circuit. After that, you have to give all the attributes value we want to enter. So for example, V sine, we are not going to use a transformer in the simulation. Directly the secondary output we are going to consider. So I am using a V sine of 9 volt 50 hertz sine wave I am going to consider to the circuit as an input. Then take DC 0, AC 1 and V of 0. Then you take the fixed resistor value as 120 and the variable resistor 1 kilo ohm you select, and in that you have to set the ratio. Select the value in that it should be less than 1. So after building the circuit, properly connect the ground, then measure the voltage and current across your load resistance. Then you can able to simulate the circuit, then you can see the output in the output window. So now we will perform the simulation of half wave rectifier with filter and without filter. See, we are going to perform the study of half wave rectifier without filter. Go to the PSpice schematics. In that you can open the get new part and you type V sine. So V sine, you place it on the grid page. Then you need a diode. Select diode IN4002 and place it on the page. Then you need the resistor 120 ohm. Rotate the resistor and place the 120 ohm resistor. Then you need a variable resistor. So select R variac and place it. Next I am selecting the ground and I am placing it on the page. So we have got all the components. For measuring voltage and current, we will place the markers. So now you can connect the circuit by using draw wire. So use draw wire and connect the components. Connect the components. This is here half wave rectifier without filter. So here you can save the file. Now we are entering the values. So enter V sign value, DC is 0, AC is 1 and V of 0, and the V amplitude you take it as 9 volt and frequency 50 Hertz. We are not using the transformer, just the secondary of the transformer directly we are connecting to the circuit. Okay, and the fixed resistor value you take it as 120 and variable resistor we can take it as a 1K resistor. But the set value has to be changed according to the load resistance. So here initially we need to consider 120. So I am making the set value 0 here. That means the load resistance considered is 120 ohm. Now place the output voltage and current marker on the output side. So you can place the current as well as voltage. Current wherever you want you can keep, because it is a single loop. The current remains the same. Go to the setup analysis, select transient, so 0 millisecond, and your cycle is 50 Hertz. So you will get 20 millisecond each cycle. Here I am going with some more cycles, so 200 milliseconds I am giving. So some 10 cycle I can able to observe. So now you can simulate and you can view the rectified voltage and current waveform. I am simulating the circuit. And open the output window. So you can view the output waveform. This is the rectified signal. Half cycle alone it is getting rectified. So if you want to compare with the input signal, you can keep the probe at the input side and you can view both the input and output signals. So you see the input and output waveform. Input is AC and the output voltage is here pulsating DC. Half cycle alone got rectified. You cannot view the current because it is milliamps. So what I am doing, I am going with the other plot. So you add the plot to window. In that you go to the traces and you can select the current. So you see the current. Since filter circuit is not used, the current shape also similar to your voltage waveform. Okay, so it will go up to some 60 milliamps and it is coming back to 0. Now the thing is, in our circuit we need average values, VDC and IDC average values we want to find. Okay, so for that what we are going to do is, we got the output voltage and current waveforms. Next thing what you want to do is, you need a average value VDC and IDC. For that I am going to simulate and see. Okay, VM first you note down. Maximum voltage is taken as 9 volt. So I am marking VM as 9, and in all the circuits it will be maintained at 9 volt only. Okay, so now I want to 9 volt. You can see here 9 volt it is. So peak of my input signal is taken as 9 volt. Now I want to find out VDC IDC. So I am going to add one more plot. In that plot I am going to find the average of the voltage. Okay, add trace. In that go to the average. So what voltage, output voltage is V of R1 of 2. So select that. It will give you the average signal value. So the average signal you see, it is continuously slightly changing, then it is going to be a constant value. So this value I want to capture, right? So in which value it is settled. For that what you have to do is, you have to go to the cursor. So in that cursor peak, you toggle cursor you select. In that, go to the cursor peak, and in the cursor peak you go with the left click. Okay, so left click when you do and drag it, only one cursor will move. So that cursor you place it on the constant values and see what is the value of your output. So here I am selecting the cursor. First go to the toggle cursor. I want to know the settled output. So go to the toggle cursor. In that, go with the cursor peak. Then you go with the left click. So when you do the left click, only A1 will change. Here see A2 is changing. So I am keeping A2 as 0 and I am going with the change in A1. See A1 is alone changing. So A1 you change, left click you do, and keep it at that place where you want to know the constant value. So you can see it is going up to 2.5. Okay, so my output is settling around 2.5. So this will be my VDC, average DC voltage. Okay, so on this slide you note down the VDC value. Okay, average value where it is settled. So 2.5 volt we can note down. Next thing, you want to know about the IDC. Okay, so to know about the IDC, again you have to go with the average value of the current, whatever we got it, that current average value you want to find. Go to the plot, add plot to window and find the current. What is the current? It is shown in the window. See, the current seen in the window is actually depending on the orientation of the resistor connected, the current is varying, right? But current is not negative, we are getting positive only. Just only the notation they have changed. So what you do is you select the same current, I of R2 you want. Okay, our orientation, actually resistor doesn't have polarity, but since there in the thing they have arranged the resistance values, it is coming negative, it is not a matter. So go to the average of that current, minus of IR2 you can take and find out the average value of the current. So initially you try to get the output waveforms, then you can go with the average calculation. So see, I am getting the constant output. Go with the cursor peak, toggle cursor and left click. So you have to select that window and you have to go with that average of minus IR2 you need to select. See, select that, then left click it, then you will get the value. So you can see over here A1 is changing to, now you see A1 is changing to 21 milliamps. Okay, so A1, the first time it will be time, you don't need to see this, that only settled value you see 21 milliamps. Okay, so my average current for 120 ohm resistance is 21 milliamps and my voltage is around 5. And in this again you can see about the peak to peak ripple value. So what is the voltage that the output voltage is falling to 0. So peak to peak ripple value will be similar to the maximum value because we don't have a reduction in the ripple value. So the same maximum and minimum values will be from 9 to 0. So peak to peak ripple value will lie at 9 volt. So all these 4 values you note down here, 21 milliamps and peak to peak ripple voltage is 9 volt. So these are the 4 readings we have to take it for 120 ohm resistance. Then these 4 readings you want to note down. The other values you can calculate by using the formulas. Efficiency, regulations, everything we can able to calculate by using the formula. See, Vrms can be calculated by Vm by 2, Irms can be calculated by Vm by 2RL, internal efficiency by PDC by PAC. Okay. Then ripple factor, Vrms by VDC whole squared minus 1 root of. Regulation, after finding the no load voltage, we can able to find out the voltage regulation. It is nothing but no load minus particular load voltage divided by particular load voltage. Next thing, we have to repeat this for the next set of resistance. increase the resistance to 500 ohm. So in increasing the resistance to 500 ohm, the thing what you want to understand is the maximum value of the resistor is 1K, but the value what we want to select is depending on the set value, right? So actual value of the resistor will be nothing but set into actual value 1K. Okay, whatever set ratio you are setting into value will give you the actual value. The thing is, already we have 120 ohm resistance. So to increase the load to 500 ohm resistance, we need to add 380 ohm resistance. So to add 380, what I am doing is set ratio I am setting as 0.38. Okay, so 0.38 into my 1K, that is 1000, will give you the resistance value 380 ohm. Okay, so to get the load resistance of 500, I am setting the set ratio as 0.38. So set value 0.38 we have to type, then you have to simulate. So I have simulated, I am getting the rectified output. So in this we want to find out VDC and IDC. So go with the average of the output voltage. So select average, and the voltage, output voltage, you can see here, green is your output voltage. So it is V of R1 of 2. So select V of R1 of 2. That will give you the average of V of R1 of 2. Average of V of R1 of 2. Select OK. This will give you the average value. To find out the actual constant output, go with the toggle cursor and select cursor peak and do the left click and drag it. And you see here your output is settled at 2.6 volt. 2.6. So that value we want to note down. So VDC is 2.6 volt. So note down in that tabular column. So 2.6 I am getting. So I am writing for 500 ohm. My peak value is 9 volt, whereas my VDC is 2.6 volt. Okay. Now we want to find out the IDC and peak to peak ripple voltage. So to find IDC, again go with the average of the output current. So to find out the average of output current, open a new plot, then go to the trace, add the trace. Now you want average of output current. Output current, it is minus of IR2. Okay, so average of minus of IR2 I am doing. I am getting the average value. So left click it and go to the cursor output. You are getting 5.3 milliamps, 5.23 milliamps. So select that. That will be the average load current. Then you can write it on the table. So you will get it as 5.3 milliamps. And peak to peak ripple value without filter, it remains the same, right? So like this, you from these values find the RMS values of voltage and current, then find the performance factors. So like this 800, 100,000 ohm we have to do, then find the no load. By opening the load resistance, find out. You will get around 3 volt, and the IDC current, since it is open, it will become 0. Using these values, find the regulations. Okay, so these are the things we have to note down and calculate the performance factor without filter, right? Next we are going to add a filter. Here filter is your capacitor. So we are connecting a capacitor to the circuit parallel to the load resistance. Okay, so the value of the capacitor should be 100 microfarad. So type in the value 100U, then save it. The same values, right? So you keep the resistance set value 0, so that I'll consider the total load resistance as 120 ohm in the circuit. Then simulate. See the difference, your ripple values are getting reduced. Okay, so input is AC signal, my output is a rectified signal, but then your output is not going to 0, right? So initially without filter we got a pulsating DC, whereas here we are getting a DC with reduced ripple. So for this output, again find the average value. So average of V of R1 of 2. If you select, you will get the average value. Find the constant value by selecting the toggle cursor and clicking left click. You left click it and drag it. You will get the value 5.05 volt. So note down with the filter, you can note down the values. So this is without filter. Next table we are going to note down with the filter. So for 120 ohm, the peak voltage, it will not change, it remains the same, 9 volt, whereas your VDC is improved to 5 volt. Okay, so 5.3 you note down. You need to find out IDC and peak to peak ripple. Okay, so go with the output window, again select plot to window, trace, add trace. In this, go with the average of the output current minus of I of R2. Okay, so click OK. You will get the output current. So output current, again you can find out the constant value by selecting the toggle cursor peak, then left click and drag it. 42 milliamps I am getting. Okay, so you can note down that 42 milliamps on the table. 42 milliamps, you can peak to peak ripple you want to note down. See the values, what is the maximum and minimum it is going, you have to observe from here, right? So maximum and minimum will be up to 9 volt it is going, minimum is around 3 volt. Okay, each division is 2 volt. So minimum is around 3 volt. Okay, so 3 and 9. So this distance will be around 6 volt. So peak to peak ripple value will become 6 volt. So what we have to do is that 6 volt we can take it as a peak to peak ripple value, and we can note it on the table. So IDC average current you have to note down, then peak to peak ripple value. So this is for 120 ohm resistance. Next thing, we are going to change the load resistance to 500, and same way we are going to find out VDC IDC peak to peak ripple value. Go to the set value 0.38, so that my load resistance will go to, this resistance will become 380 and it plus 120 will give you 500 ohm. For 500 ohm I am taking the readings. So for 500 ohm, this is my input and output voltage. The ripple has reduced. So when I increase my load resistance, my ripple value will be reducing. So this ripple value you can able to see from the window. So now we are going to find out the average DC voltage and DC current. Go to the average of and select V of R1 of 2. Click OK. It will give you the average value. To find out the peak, go to the toggle cursor peak, then left click and drag. So A1 value will give you the actual value. It is settling at 7 volt. So take VDC as 7. Then to find the IDC current, go to the average of current minus of I of R2. Okay, so you will get the current. So in the current, again toggle cursor, left click and drag it. So you are getting around, the current is, see A1, you see A1 is 14.2 milliamps. Okay, so these are your VDC IDC values, and ripple value if you observe, ripple value also it is around 1 box, that means around 2 to 3 volt it is. Okay, so all these three readings you have to note down. See, ripple minimum is around 6, maximum is going around 9. So for 500 ohm, note down the values. VDC is around 7 volt, IDC is 14 milliamps, and peak to peak ripple is reduced to 3 volt. Okay, so like this, these values will give the average values and peak to peak ripple value. So using these values, you have to find the efficiency, ripple factor. You find out ripple factor, use the formula and find out peak to peak ripple divided by 2 root 3 by VDC we have to use, and you find the regulation. So all these three things we have to complete. So this is about your simulation of half wave rectifier with and without filter. So this is the thing. You have to properly note down the input and output waveforms, then find the average values. Okay, so the same thing we have verified in the hardware also. So the hardware we are going to see the waveforms as well as the readings we are going to take by changing the load resistance. Okay, input output waveform, average value of voltage and current you can note down from the circuit. Fine. Next we are going to do with the hardware. So in the hardware, the same way we are going to rig up the circuit, keep the decay resistance box initially to minimum position, then note down your meter value, voltmeter value, and from the CRO we want to observe the peak to peak ripple value, right? And you first note down the VM of the input signal. What is the maximum value of the input signal? So these 4 readings we have to take. Once these are noted, then we can able to change our load resistance slowly to 500, 800 and 1000, and again you note down all these, repeat these values and find out. Okay, then final reading, no load condition, remove the resistance and note down the no load condition. So once these 5 readings are taken, connect a capacitor in parallel to this resistor, then you can start repeating the same procedure. Load resistance from 120 to 1000 we are going to vary, and we are going to, with the filter, we are going to note down all these values. So after noting all these values, we will be finding by using the formula, we will find out the ripple factor, percentage of regulation and efficiency. So we'll see the hardware procedure now. Experiment, study of half wave rectifier with and without filter. So as we know, rectifier converts AC into DC. So in rectifiers, we have half wave rectifier and full wave rectifier. So the half wave rectifier circuit rectifies only the positive cycle. So here we need a single diode. You can see the circuit diagram in the manual. So we are going to step down the AC input using a step down transformer. So 230 volt is stepped down to 9 volt. Then we are going to use a diode D1. So diode IN4007 diode we are going to use, and we are going to connect an ammeter to see the current through the circuit. So we are going to connect a resistance, so 120 ohm fixed resistor, and we are going to connect a decayed resistance box to change the resistance, and we are going to connect a voltmeter across the resistance branch to see the converted DC voltage. So here we are going to perform 2 experiments with the capacitor, without capacitor. So you can see first circuit with capacitor, second circuit without capacitor. So first we'll perform without filter circuit, then we'll do with filter. So the component needed for performing half wave rectifiers are step down transformer, diode, ammeter, resistance box and fixed resistor, and then you need a voltmeter. So these are the components. So you can see the step down transformer here. This is said to be a center tap transformer. So 230 volt I have connected to the primary, And secondary, you can see you will get 9 volt at this end, 0 volt you will get at this end, again 9 volt also you will get at this end. So in the center tap you can use it for a full wave rectifier circuits, but we are doing half wave, so we are taking only 9 volt and 0. So this 9 volt we are connecting to the circuit. So next, to change the resistance, we are connecting a decayed resistance box. You can see the resistance box here, you have different ranges. So into 10 if I want to do, I can vary this knob, I can change 20, 30 like that, and this range I can change 100, 200 like this. This in terms of kilo ohm I can change, and this one in terms of 10 kilo ohm I can change the resistance. So this is called decayed resistance box. So now I am going to use this multimeter as an ammeter. So if I want to use this as an ammeter, I have to set the knob in milliamps position I have kept, and terminal what I have to use is common terminal and milliamps I have to use. And one more meter I am using as an voltmeter. So here I have to select DC voltage, and the probe what I have to connect is voltage and common terminal. Tell you the circuit connection. So from 230 volt supply it is given to the primary, and this transformer is stepping down this voltage to 9 volt. So from 9 volt I am connecting to the diode. This is here IN4007. So this end is considered to be the anode, and the silver ring is taken as the cathode. So from 9 volt I am connecting to the anode of the diode. The cathode is connected to the ammeter positive. So this is said to be the positive of your ammeter, red color, and the common terminal is taken as negative, that is given to the resistance. So you can see here the black color what I have inserted in here, it is connected to the resistance. So the resistance is here 120 ohm fixed resistor. The other end of the resistance, it is going to the decayed resistance box. So the other end of the decayed resistance box I am connecting to the 0 volt of the transformer output. So the circuit is closed like this: 9 volt, diode, ammeter, then resistance, then decayed box, and then it is connected to the 0 volt of the transformer. Now we have to measure the output DC voltage. So I am keeping the multimeter across the resistance. So one end across the 120 ohm resistor, the other end I am connecting to the reference or 0 volt, you can consider reference voltage, or ground I am connecting. So I am connecting the probe to the first channel. So you can see the supply voltage I have connected to the channel 1. So 9 volt whatever it is received from the transformer I am displaying on the CRO, right? So you can see above the reference it is covering one box and 1.8. You can check the ground properly, and if you see one full box and here 4 divisions. So I can say one box, and each division you can take it as 0.2. So it is 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. So one box 1.8. So how much ever division it is covering into voltage per division will give you the actual voltage. So 1.8 into 5 will give you 9 volt. So 9 volt peak signal, AC signal is coming from your transformer. Okay. So now I am connecting the next channel probe across the load resistance. So I am connecting the probe here and with respect to the reference. So I have to get a rectified output waveform. So I should get only the positive cycle, and negative cycle have to be clipped. So you can see the output waveform here. This is your rectified output waveform. So positive cycle, diode conducts, so you will get the positive cycle at the output terminal. During negative cycle, diode will be open, so it is getting clipped, so the output is 0. So you are getting only the positive cycles at the output. So we have seen the rectified waveform and the CRO. Now you can see the ammeter and voltmeter. You could see the DC current flowing through the circuit, 2.4 milliamps, sorry 24 milliamps, and 2.8 volt DC voltage you could be able to see across the load resistance. So now what we are going to do is we are going to change the load resistance and we are going to observe all these values. So you can see the first tabular column. Without capacitor we are doing this experiment. So first what you have to observe is peak voltage we want to observe. What is the peak voltage of the input signal? So what is the peak voltage we discussed? Already we discussed it was covering 1.8 volt and voltage per division is 5. So it is 1.8 into 5. So the peak will be 9 volt. So all the cases it will be taken as here 9 volt. So now RMS values we have to use the formulas and find out. So the other thing you want to observe VDC and IDC using the ammeter and voltmeter. So first thing, you keep all your resistances in minimum position, everything in 0, so that your 120 ohm resistance alone will be there in the circuit. So for this load resistance we are observing the VDC and IDC. So for 120 ohm you can see this load resistance, the VDC, IDC whatever we are getting in the meters you have to tabulate it. So VDC 2.76 I will take 76 and IDC 24 milliamps I will consider. So I have to note down in the table. And fourth reading what I have to take is peak to peak ripple voltage. So what is the ripple? See, ripple is nothing but the maximum what it is reaching and what is the minimum. So here maximum is it is going up to the peak value, then it is reaching 0. So peak to peak ripple will be the same voltage, it is here 9 voltage. So for without capacitor always the peak to peak ripple is 9 volt. So this is the first reading you have to tabulate it. After this we have to change the resistance to 500 ohm. Then we have to observe the VDC, IDC peak to peak ripple voltage. So for changing the resistance to 500, total resistance should be 500. That means already 120 ohm fixed resistor is there. So I have to add 380 ohm. So in the decade box I have to add 380 ohms. So here it is in terms of 100. So I will change this to 1, 2, 3. So it is 300 and this knob I will change it to 8. So it will be 380. Already 120 fixed resistor is there. So total it will become 120 plus 380, 500 ohm. So my load resistance is 500 ohm. So for that I have to observe the IDC and VDC and I have to tabulate it. So next thing again, I have to increase my load resistance to 800 and I have to observe VDC, IDC. Then again I have to increase my resistance to 1000. So already 120 if I subtract I will get. So I have to add 880 ohms in the decade box. So then you note down the VDC, IDC value, peak to peak ripple voltage. So the last reading is no load voltage I want to find out. So to find out the no load voltage, I have to remove the load. So what you have to do is remove this load resistance, that is said to be a no load value. So after removing it, we have to observe the no load voltage. So observe the no load voltage and current should be 0. So observe the no load voltage. So no load means without connecting any load resistance. So see, current has become 0. My no load voltage has stopped at 3.46. So this no load voltage I want to find out. So this is important to find out the regulation of the output circuit. See, after tabulating the readings, you want to find all the other values. Vrms for the half wave rectifier is Vm by 2. IRMS is Vrms by RL, load resistance value. So you find out the IRMS value. Then you want to find out the ripple factor, efficiency and regulation. So here I have given the ripple factor formula. Without filter, the ripple factor formula is Vrms by VDC whole squared minus 1 root of. So you have to find out this value. So Vrms by VDC, it is in the table. Find out the ratio, square it, subtract it by 1, take a square root. That will give you the ripple factor value. So after that you have to find out the efficiency. Efficiency is DC power by AC power. So VDC IDC divided by Vrms IRMS. That will give you the rectification efficiency. The last one is regulation. So regulation, VDC at no load, final reading we have taken without load, that minus particular load VDC voltage divided by VDC at particular load. So use the formula and find out the regulation of the half wave rectifier without capacitor. So the second one, now we are going to connect the capacitor. So what is the function of a capacitor? It is going to act as a filter. It will remove the ripple content in the output and it will reduce the fluctuation in the output. So here you see, parallel to the load resistance I have connected the capacitor. One end to the resistor, the other end to the common point. So I have connected the capacitor across the load resistance and I have to repeat all the procedure. So you can see the output in the CRO. See your ripples is getting reduced. So initially full ripple it was going to 0, but now we added the capacitor, so my ripples has reduced. So my output is rising and falling, it is fluctuating. So the ripple content you can see it is getting reduced because of the filter circuit. So this is the purpose of filter. So the same way we have to conduct the experiment. First initially keep the DRB in the minimum position, keep it in the minimum position, and you have to tabulate the IDC value and VDC value. So ammeter value and voltmeter DC values you have to note down in the tabulation. And one more thing, peak to peak ripple you want to observe. So peak to peak ripple when you are observing, always your DC value will be away from the zero axis. So but to get a proper value you adjust the Y shift and see how much ripple it is. So you can see it is covering 1.2. One full box and one division, so 1.2. 1.2 into 5 will give you the ripple voltage. So 1.2 into 5 will give you the ripple voltage. So this is the first reading. Then I can increase my resistance to 500. So I will give it to 380. So I am increasing my resistance. Now you can see the ripple voltage. So the ripple have reduced. So you can see the ripple have, it is covering only 3 divisions. So 1, 2, 3 points only. So 3 into 5 will give you the ripple value. 3 means 3 into 0.2. So it is 0.6. So 0.6 into 5 will give you the ripple voltage. So these things up to 1000 ohm we will be tabulating the readings, and finally without load we have to tabulate it. So for all the resistance, load resistance value, we have to observe the VDC, IDC, peak to peak ripple voltage. Peak voltage will remain the same, and the remaining things we have to use the formula, and you have to find out all the efficiency, regulation and ripple factors value. So this is how we have performed the half wave rectifier with and without filter. Finally you have to draw the waveform. So in input AC waveform you have to draw, and without filter how we got the rectified output you have to draw. And the second thing, with the filter how the ripple was reduced and how we got the waveform from the CRO, we have to draw it in the graph sheet. So this is how we can able to study the efficiency and regulation of a half wave rectifier in the hardware experiment. Thank you. So this is how we verified the results in simulation as well as in the hardware. So the half wave rectifier circuits simulation and hardware are verified successfully. Thank you.